Hi, welcome to Tuesday Talks. My name is Michelle Jewsbury. Thank you for joining. If today is your first time joining us, Tuesday Talks is designed to talk about domestic violence, to open up the conversation about this horrible epidemic that happens worldwide. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I was involved with a man who physically, emotionally, and sexually abused me for 3 years, and for 1 year after that, financially and emotionally manipulated me. Because of intense therapy, writing, speaking, I feel that I have been healed, and I want to spread the word about opening up about this topic, how conversing about domestic violence, conversing and talking about what has happened to you, what has happened to the people that you love, the people in your life, how that is so immensely healing and how you can help others. So the topic today, I would really like to discuss domestic violence in third world countries. So, if you don't know my past, I was vice president for a nonprofit organization for 1 year. Before that, I had visited Kenya, Guatemala, and Hyderabad, India, where I went with different organizations and helped with relief. In Guatemala, we painted jungle gyms and helped with the kids in school. In India, there was an orphanage where we painted also, but we also played with the children and helped to implement love and letting these children know that they're cared for even though that they're orphans. And in Kenya, there's a wide array of things that we did there. But with the organization I went with to Kenya, we visited a few villages. We helped with medical retreat. We spoke with children. We helped with VBS in the school. And one thing that the organization is now implementing is women's programs. I haven't spoken to the organization as Kizimani for quite some time, but I know that they're now implementing programs for women who have been abused, which is amazing, and I hope to partner with them. Because of my experience in the nonprofit realm, I have been compelled to start a nonprofit myself. So if you've noticed, the name of this page has changed from Michelle Jewsbury Domestic Violence to Unsilenced Voices. The entire purpose of the nonprofit Unsilenced Voices is to encourage victims and survivors to speak up about what is happening to you, about what happened to you, to save people, to save women, children, and men in the future from being violated and violently struck and abused and emotionally and verbally attacked. So I have an amazing opportunity to go back to Sierra Leone. And in Sierra Leone, Africa, there's an existing vocational center. So I went there with the nonprofit I was involved with back in April. I was able to speak with a handful of women, one group of elderly women. There was about, I want to say 12 to 14 of them, and then a group of college-aged girls, and there were about 5 to 6 girls that we were having a conversation with. What we talked about is violence against women in Sierra Leone. Now, it being a third world country, that's why I want to focus my efforts and relief in the third world realm. But I have this amazing opportunity to go back to Sierra Leone and to go to the vocational center where they currently have women and children escaping from domestic violence, and hope to implement some of our core values, some values and statistics and research that I've done and that have been done here in the United States. So the one thing that I want to focus on during this talk is in third world countries, because it's more of a cultural thing, women are abused, hurt, violated, and oftentimes the men in these countries think that it's their right to be able to do these horrific things to these women and children. And the existing vocational center, women who have been abused go there. They're taught a skill of being sewing, being beating, any handwork, and then they're sent back to their husbands. Now, the problem with this is the people over there seem to think that since these women are learning a skill and now they're going to be making money for their family, then going back to their husbands, it's going to be fine and peaceful and he won't abuse them anymore. But unfortunately, that's not what happens. These women go, learn a vocation, learn a skill, go back to their husbands, and they're beat even more. Oftentimes, these women go back and their husbands don't like it that they've gained some independence and put them down and harsher and hurt them worse. Sometimes these men are appreciative of these women bringing home the bacon per se, but the abuse doesn't stop. The abuse has to stop with education, with training both the women and the men, how not to attack each other verbally and physically, how being subservient to your husband there's limitations on that. It doesn't mean that you can allow your husband to physically beat you and rape you just because you're their wife. So this amazing opportunity might be coming up in October, and I just kind of wanted to share that with everybody, where Unsilenced Voices is going to be going back to Sierra Leone, talking, and eventually when I come back from Sierra Leone, we're going to be raising funds to start shelters in Africa, probably starting in Sierra Leone where I have contacts, and hopefully trickling down to Kenya and other countries in Africa, starting shelters for women and children fleeing domestic violence and educating the population there how wrong it is and how learning a skill isn't going to stop it. It's teaching these men not to do it. It's helping with alcohol and drug abuse. It's encouraging these people that their life isn't just poverty and helplessness, that their lives have meaning. So I just kind of wanted to share that, and thank you very much for joining me on Tuesday Talks.